Limiter. A limiter is basically a brick wall, okay? It's literally like, this is it. I don't want you to pass from here. That's all I'm gonna give you, okay? Which is important on instruments that may be like super, super hot. You know, a kick drum that's super hot, you know, you have that kick, the sub kick is really hot. Or keyboards, you know, sometimes they'll put that volume all the way up. I don't know where, you know, keyboardists are notorious for that. It's like, can you make sure you give me your full volume so I know your gain? Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's all you're getting? That's really weird. I don't know what it could be. And then as soon as this gig starts,
boom, hey! All you hear is keyboards and synth, you know? So there you go. And a good tool to combat that is your limiter. Okay, you turn that limiter on, that is it. If they try to give you more than that, they're gonna probably start distorting just because the limiter kicks in so hard. So say right now, I give my limiter like a crazy, crazy limiter here, like, hey, what, woo! I got absolutely nothing out of there. So I'm getting my limiter like a crazy brick wall. You know, it's just like, you're not going past there. Alright? So, hey, 1, 2, hey, 1, 2. You know, you can use that for vocals too. I don't use it too much for vocals, but you can. And that is your limiter. Alright, now we go over to the notorious. What?
So you use the limiter usually on like keys and stuff. So when people like they give you one gain,
instruments,
and then they want to go.
You give it on something you want to be cautious with. You know, again, the digital soundboards and processing equipment, even analog boards, you can get external equipment that'll do the same stuff that's on this thing. The only difference is this board has everything built in, which is the advantages of having digital consoles. Everything is built in. Yeah, so limiters, I usually, you know, a lot of electronic equipment or things I know that has really, can have the potential to just get out of hand, okay? This is another right-hand man right here. It's like adding extra sound engineers next to you, literally watching over things for you, okay? That's what each one of these things do, you know, especially the gate, compressor limiters, you know, that's what they are. They help you stay within the zone you want to stay. It's like having extra hands. Alright, now the notorious EQ, because everybody needs to have crazy EQ curves, you know. Believe it or not, once you calibrate a sound system, which is done by, you know, a system engineer, I already did that, it's calibrated, you know, it sounds great, you don't have to adjust 10,000 things to make the sound system good. When you have a good flat EQ, that's your basis, you know, once you have that, man, you know, forget it. Everything you put in through there is going to sound pretty close to what the natural sound of it is, depending on if it's mic'd or not, if it's, you know, trying to equipment. So that's pretty important.
What if they naturally sound like poop?
Then you hit the mute button.
Got it.
Or you turn the limiter all the way down. So, okay, going back to EQ. So,
on our natural hearing scale, you know what that is. You know, a reference of what our hearing scale is as humans, what we can hear frequency-wise.
We can hear
-48.
Stop looking at the EQ.
I'm not.
I haven't thought about it.
Is it like -48 to 10?
It's approximately 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Okay, that's our hearing range technically. As you grow older, obviously, you can start losing frequencies, etc., etc. So 20 hertz being the lowest of the lows, okay? 20,000 is the highest of the highest. Obviously, there are frequencies way past that you know, exist. We just can't hear them. Subharmonic frequencies that you can't hear. You can feel some of them, like on the low end. You know, when you hear that super low end bass, you know, supposedly you can feel it. You know, you might not hear it, but you can feel it. So, which is what I'll get into next. You can put that on pause.
Alright, so we just hit select on the channel.
Alright, so now going to our EQ section in order to adjust and activate the EQ. Make sure you're on the correct channel by hitting select. You can solo it so you can hear it on your headphones if you want to use your headphones. Then in order to actually engage a particular part of the EQ, the equalizer actual EQ has to be on. first of all, is if the equalizer is not on, it won't affect anything. You can be doing all kinds of things with the knobs and nothing's actually going to happen. So turn the EQ on, then turn on the frequency you'd like to work on. So right now, we're trying to get a little bit the bass, the boominess on the bass, so we turn the low end on. You'll also notice there's a button that says shelf. What shelf does is, it takes the entire band from a particular point and lets you affect the entire band equally, the entire EQ band, okay? So for example, if I turn shelf on and I started lowering the EQ, it's gonna take everything from where I have it marked here 130 down and start turning it down. But I kind of already killed most of that here with my high pass filter, actually set at 100, I can bring it up to 130. And now there's not going to be any noticeable change on my microphone. You won't hear anything happening because I already killed everything about under 130 with my high pass filter, or also known as low cut. Now if I keep turning the frequency up, it'll keep killing everything below a certain frequency range together, all in unity. Essentially, having your low on and your shelf on, and having your width of your EQ set at center, or at 0, I guess is what they say here, what is it? 0.6, yeah. Basically, will affect it the same way your high pass filter does, okay? Same thing. So, you know, now if I kept moving this up, if I kept moving it up, all of a sudden I'll start losing all the super low end of my voice, and I have like hardly any bass left, you know? If I turn way down, I have almost nothing left there. Boom, 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 boom. Got nothing on the low end.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. All right, there we go, now we got it back. The other way to use the EQ, which is more useful, is actually kill the shelf, especially for a vocal. And you'll want to find the frequency you want to kill by turning down the EQ, for example, if you want to kill a certain frequency, try and get a little bit of that rumbling, a little bass out. So we'll turn the gain down a bit, maybe 60 dB is usually a good point to start. And then we do what's called a sweep. We sweep the frequency. We start from one point and go to another and then come back. We do a sweep. So hello, check mic 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2, and you can hear how it's affecting the mic there as I go up and down, up and down, up and down. And I start finding right there it sounds pretty good. It sounds a little more intelligible, the vocals, right? And not as muddy. So leave it there. Now say I want to affect closer to that frequency and not as much everything around it. That's where I adjust the width of that frequency EQ that I'm adjusting. So as I turn it up, it makes the frequency, that actual window, or that the width of that EQ smaller, so it doesn't affect the frequencies around it. Because although I'm at 155, it's affecting pretty much everything within a few hundred frequencies from it.
Right.
Probably everything from like 108 to 65. It's affecting somehow. Now, the smaller, the tighter I adjust the EQ, the less it'll affect the other frequencies around it. Really good for trying to find a specific frequency that's feeding back.
Got it.
Right? Water break. The Q, so I want you guys to see what happens when you make the Q tighter or wider. You'll see that as I make it tighter, it affects less frequencies around it.
Oh, now I know what you mean by Q. Okay, I got you. I was lost for a long time, but I got it.
Now, if I make the Q wider, it'll make it really big and adjust a lot. Start affecting everything around it a lot more.
I get what you say now.
So, right now, I'm going to go back to trying to find that frequency that was making me sound a bit muddy here, right? So I'll turn my Q on. I'm going to leave my Q kind of a good center point, so it'll adjust evenly. I'll turn my gain down about 6 dB. It's a good place to start, negative 6 dB. Turn it down to negative 6, and we do what's called a sweep. We sweep from one frequency all the way up to the highest frequency, and then and back down, and we try to find what frequency it is that's causing that muddiness that I don't want. So, I'll start coming down, la la la, check 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, check, 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 hey, 1, 2, 1, 2, hey, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right there. That sounds pretty good now, right? Doesn't sound as muddy as before. If we want to kill it a little bit more, I'll turn the gain down a little more. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. If I turn it down a whole lot, now I sound really thin. Now I have like no depth to my voice. I don't want to turn it down that much. Bring it back. Hey, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2. Sounds pretty good. Now I'll make a decision. Do I want to make my cue, the wave, bigger or smaller? 1, 1, 2. Let me try it. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, check 1, 2, 1, 2. Thinned it out a little bit too much, so I'll go back. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. That sounds pretty good. Now, you can hear me pretty intelligibly. Now, I still get this, right? Alright, well, what did I adjust? I adjusted about 185, right? Alright, I still get that. Let's find that. So, I'm gonna turn my low mid on, right? Turn my low mid on. I'm done with my lows. Let's find what frequency that is on, right? If I want to cheat, I can use my RTA wizard and it'll tell me exactly what it is, but let's go ahead and find it the old school way. So now I want to kill that, so I'm going to turn my gain down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my cue tighter. I want to find that particular frequency. It's not a big range, so I'm bringing up a bit and tighten that cue up. Hey, check, 1, 2.
Interesting.
People, hello, people, hey, people. Hey, people. So come through a little bit on the low. Okay, so more.
Can you only have one?
1, 2, hey, 1, 2. Yep. 1, 2, hey. Okay. Hey. So, I see here it seems like it's a really low frequency. So now, I'm gonna go back to my really, really low end. I'm gonna use my low mid to kill that 185 instead. Okay. And now I'm gonna go back to using my low to find what that is, because it seems a lot lower. So, go back down here, kill this a bit. Hey, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2. Cool. So, what I figured is that it's actually super, super low. It's like 80 hertz, where that really low end rumbling was coming in. So, I used my low mid to kill what I did before, and that 185, because one does kind of overlap the other. Because it gives you the option so that, you can actually play around with it and say, you know what, I'll use this side of the cue to adjust that frequency, and this one I'll bring it back so that I can kill that other frequency that was giving me issues. Alright? And that's pretty much there. So what happens is now you go back and you'll notice, but wait a minute, the frequency you killed is like 62 hertz. Didn't you cut everything below 180? Yes. But this high pass, low cut, doesn't always adjust like extreme amounts, It'll cut a certain amount of it, but you still get some that still come through, especially when you have a hot mic and you're just blowing that into there, So you still sometimes have to go back and give that a little finesse, a little fine touch there. Hey, 1, 2, check, hey. Oh, my mic sounds pretty crisp, sounds pretty clear right now. I haven't gone crazy and adjusted these crazy frequencies you see guys do sometimes. I'll have like all this kind of mess here, like woo, hey, yeah. Now I sound like I'm in a tin can, And if say you want a little more sibilance, a little more of that crispiness, you can go to your high end and find a frequency that, I want to give it a little crispiness. I'll turn the shelf on the high end. Hey, check it. Hey, 1, 2, yes, 1, 2, 2, a little too crispy. Hey, 1, 2, come back. Yes, hey, 1, 2, all right. Check, 1, 1, 1, 2. It's, not rocket science, it's just a matter of starting from 1, moving on to the next, moving on to the next, moving on to the next. It's a very simple steps. You don't have to go crazy, right? Trying to find the setting. Sometimes EQ guitars can get a little crazy because they have 3 different, distortion effects that each sound differently. And you gotta say, hey, listen, use your main, pedal or whatever it is that you want to hear, because I'll use that as a reference. That way, when you change over everything else, not all the pedals sound the same in the system. You can start queuing everything, and just kill a ton of frequencies that you're really using. So that's why a lot of times guitars, electric guitars, give me your clean first. Let me hear what the clean sounds like. Give me your level and give me what it sounds like. And I can say, by hearing the clean, I'm like, if it sounds really off, I'm like, you know what, let me check that mic position. Maybe the position of the microphone right now isn't where it needs to be. It's picking up like crazy highs. Maybe it's directed right in the middle of the cone. It doesn't sound right. Maybe you want to move it off to the side or something to warm it up. And that's more or less how you EQ a channel. So you EQ a microphone, everything is different. Kick drum, et cetera, et cetera. You can actually, I use the shelf on the highs to kill stuff that doesn't need highs, like certain wind instruments sometimes, they don't reproduce those frequencies, so I just kill them and just give them the frequencies that they use, because although the actual instrument doesn't reproduce it, doesn't mean that those frequencies aren't around the room, right? Especially if they're playing with a band. So, if you have a saxophonist that's got a mic clipped on and he's standing right next to the drummer, and he's pumping, and then all of a sudden you hear crazy feedback coming through the saxophone mic right next to the drums, and you didn't kill some of those highs that his mic is just, picking up, or all sorts of things can happen. Right, well, that's pretty much that when it comes to EQing. Pretty much run through all the basics on setting up a channel on the board. Now,